Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for tuning in to BSC News Live. At the end of last week, we mentioned that we're going to have some very exciting guests. One of them, obviously, being Cyber Connect, which is today. So firstly, thank you very much for joining us, listeners, but mostly, we have Wilson here from Cyber Connect. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for your time. Wilson, would you like to firstly perhaps introduce yourself and maybe a little bit about the team at Cyber Connect?
Sure, that would be my honor. Thank you, Tom, for having me. And my name is Wilson Wei, and I'm the co-founder of Cyber Connect. We started Cyber Connect back in mid 2021, and has been almost like 2 years. So we were also like I believe one of the very first platform actually come up with the concept of decentralized social graph. So in short, we're building this decentralized social graph protocol that is currently live on BSC, and essentially it's EVM compatible. And so far, we have more than 800,000 CC profile holders, and plus pretty good traction in terms of like daily usage of the protocol. We have like roughly averaging around like 70,000 recently as daily on-chain active users. We have also more than 50 plus ecosystem dApps that's currently building with CyberConnect protocol, including one of the which we actually built in-house, Link 3.2. So yeah, glad to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you. Would you be able to tell us what the term, firstly, social graph means, and also how did Cyber Connect come about? Why did you decide to start Cyber Connect?
I mean, like social graph, in short, it's a representation of your network, like the people that you're friends with, the people that you follow, your followers. So those are considered as social graph in a narrow concept, or a narrow definition. And the broader definition could include a lot more things, like in general your social status, and I think another way to understand it, or at least understand like what we are trying to build, is to think of it as a Web3 native user account system. Just like how you would register your Facebook account, your Instagram account, your Twitter account. So those account systems are centralized, and each account system is segregated with the others, basically creating multiple different silo data network between each platforms. And therefore there's no interoperability, there's no composability. What we're trying to build is essentially giving back users that ownership of this account system. And with this account system, you'll be able to, bring your friends, bring the social graphs, bring your followers onto multiple platforms with one single identity as you wish. And there will be no border between platforms no more, and everything should be owned by users. And that's what one of the major thesis of Web3, user centric as always. I think that's hopefully I explained that in a way that it's easy enough for people to understand. Um, uh, the other question, Tom, you just asked is like the inception of the ideology, right? So this is the funny part. Our team, we actually started our first crypto-based startup back in 2017 in Silicon Valley, and the first project we did was Lena blockchain, and then later on, like we onboarded DLive as the live streaming platform, the one of the very first decentralized live streaming platform, and Lena blockchain was trying to build a decentralized content distribution system and monetization system. Back then we deal with a lot of streamers. I think before our company got acquired in early like 2020, we already have more than like 80,000 creators. Most of them are like gaming streamers, we recognize the problem of how content creators and users are having a huge trouble operating onto different platforms. And essentially, the problem with that is like they just have no ownership over their data. And then we found that that actually caused another problem. It's the this treatment, the unfair treatment from platform. For example, like a lot of the unfair distribution of traffic, or banning your account without reasonable reasons, or unfair demonetization policies. A lot of problem has been occurred in the past like 5 to almost a decade, since major giant tech platforms monopolize within each vertical. And since they have monopoly, and plus they own those data, that creates a really unfair um, relationship between those three parties: the platform, the content creators, and the users. And the users and content creators is almost always like on the weaker side, because they have no ownership over everything they built on this platform. Even though firstly they started off to help the platform to grow, and essentially they aggregating those users and content creators together. They actually are the platform. And out of all those problems, we found that the fundamental problem is the data ownership, and the most important data that a user or a content creator should care about in the first place would be their social graph data. And that's why we named the protocol a decentralized social graph protocol. Yeah, so that's the story behind it. And since then we have been building for 2 years. Yeah, it's glad to see like more and more applications are leading towards a more decentralized manner. And yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you. So would you be able to tell us how CyberConnect solves these issues then? For example, a content creator, maybe a gaming streamer, maybe they put out a lot of content on live stream platforms, YouTube. They've got a lot of content they've made themselves, shorts, videos, everything under the sun. So how does CyberConnect help them, but also, help them in the respect that perhaps, the things that you were saying, unfair revenue share, perhaps, demonetize, sorry. Yeah,
Demonetization.
that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, how does it help individual content creators?
I mean, first of all, like it's a game of bargaining, Um, so when you look at those policy, it always come from like one single platform, and those policy may not be discussed with others, and they have that power because they own those data. They own your accounts basically. You are like, I know like we're probably currently live on for example like YouTube. YouTube own those accounts, and they own their social graph, they own the followers. So our approach is like we enable content creators and users to establish a peer-to-peer direct relationship, either on-chain or off-chain, but either way it's on a decentralized manner. And right now what we're doing with BNB chain is we enable users to create this first ever crypto profile, what we call like CC profile. And with that profile, you can establish relationship, like for example, pay subscription on chain, and issue content, getting followers on chain, or if you want to scale it a little bit more, we also offer this solution, which is currently on Arweave, to achieve higher scalability and performance, to enable like add friends, follow someone, guest listing, and all those data will be managed by your accounts, by your wallets, and also the CC profile that you own. And when a user, no matter is a audience or a creator trying to log into a new platform, they will automatically be able to have all those, like for example, if let's say a content creator spent like 5 years on YouTube and accumulated millions of followers, and once they get on TikTok, they'll automatically have those followers and they don't have to waste any more time to rebootstrap their account again. And that's solving like problem number one, interoperability. But if you dive deeper into the root, it's like once the platform realize, okay, I'm no longer in fully control over my users' data. They're gonna be supposedly more conservative on any policy that they push out, right? And also it's also because like user will have the freedom to pick different services, and without starting all over from zero. And by the way, the off-chain parts, we also will most likely work with Greenfield in the future once it's live, which I think it's a potentially a pretty good solution for scaling all those massive amounts of data that would be required like for social applications. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. And you mentioned there as well, you'll be able to, you can, follow people gaslessly. And before this, listeners, I set up my profile very quickly. Obviously, at the moment, it's empty because it's very, very new. But I followed Wilson, and yeah, it was just there he is, completely gasless. I just need to sign a message, and that was it. Would you be able to tell us how that works? And is the data for my follows and a lot of other bits of my data, is that on chain, and how does that get stored gaslessly? Do you pay the gas?
No, so let me demonstrate a little bit. So I'm gonna just share my screen.
All good.
Okay, can you guys see this?
Indeed. Yeah.
All right. So first of all, like since I'm already sharing my screen, let me just take the opportunity to introduce Link3 a little bit. So yeah, we started off Link3 as like an all-in-one link platform, and now we have verified it and onboarded more than 1,700 organizations. You can check out all those like different kinds of organizations here. Um, and the basic use case of it, it's they displayed it on their Twitter, and for example, like this is Zerion's account, and that's how a normal org page will look like. And that's like that's the basic use case, right? And there are many other like orgs already using it. In total, like more than 1,700 already. So back to the original question. Oh, by the way, Link3 also allowed users to send posts decentralizedly. Tom, maybe haven't like tried out this feature. It's pretty new. So you can actually like write a blog post and enable your fans to collect it with or without a price. So if they collect your post, it's gonna be on a BNB chain, and they're gonna pay the gas fee to collect it. And for normal types of like profiles, when you follow someone, um, for example, like I think I already followed this one. Let me just pick one that I haven't followed. Maybe this like Candy Dao. Um, oh, I actually followed the Candy Dao. Sorry. uh, anyways, I follow a whole bunch of them. But anyways, let me it's like the process is pretty simple. So you sign the first time you sign, we generated encrypted signing key for you, and then that follow data will be automatically on our Wave network, the storage platform. And then in order to make the user experience better, we actually store that signing key in the front end of your device, and therefore you have to only sign once, and the next time you don't you basically don't have to sign. You just click follow or unfollow, and that's how we achieve it right now. it's a hybrid model. What we like the approach that we're taking. Sorry, I'm just. Did I already stop my screen sharing?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to keep it on? Oh, I think Wilson accidentally pressed leave call instead of stop sharing screen there. But I'm sure he'll be back, which is great. So while we're waiting for him to come back, which I'm sure he will, because it's an easy thing to do to accidentally click the wrong button, and here he is. Welcome back, Wilson. How are you?
Good. I don't know. Like once I click the stop sharing, it just break down.
Well,
But
welcome
anyways,
back. Mm.
yeah. So the approach that we're taking, it's a on-chain and off-chain model. The goal is to decentralizedly enable users to own their data, and also in a very scalable way for massive adoption. So right now, the on-chain part includes like minting a profile, minting a CC profile, and collecting like pay subscription, issuing content, and creating content as NFT, and uh, yeah, if you want to, you can mint your comments as an NFT as well. And the off-chain part includes like uh, the free follow, free adding friend, clicking likes, free comments, which means it's a post. And yeah, so that model will enable us to achieve the maximum of scalability and better user experience as well.
I see. No, that's very, very good. Thank you. And at the moment, there's a lot of discussion around data privacy and security, with what recently sort of going on with particularly TikTok. So, would you be able to tell us perhaps how CyberConnect ensures user privacy and also security in the management and also storage of social graph data?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, like privacy, it's a forever topic within crypto. I think a lot of people care about it, but how we see it, it's especially in terms of like social networks. There are a whole bunch of public social networks, for example, like Twitter. It's a sort of social network that's a little bit more public and therefore less privacy sensitive. And there are, of course, some more privacy-driven use cases. For example, like Telegram or Messenger, or some other like instant messaging apps. So our approach is to actually solve the problem of more of the public, less sensitive, less privacy sensitive use cases first, and how we actually ensure user data ownership and data integrity. It's by what I just explained. Like you have to sign that, and you have to prove that you're the owner of this address, and therefore no one else can actually touch your data. You own the thing that you write into the blockchain or the decentralized storage network. And in terms of like privacy in the long run, I think there will be a time when we will definitely introduce a model for encrypted like social graph database, and also with access control. And one thing to be mentioned would be we're also like already taking some approaches. For example, we have this partnership with Lit Protocol, trying to help users to create like a access control for their data. So I mean, like privacy in general is a big topic. As a startup company, we actually plan to solve the problem step by step, and I think the first step is to actually at least to provide this like decentralized infrastructure for users to own data first, and that should be able to solve a lot of the use cases.
Very good. Yeah, and you've got a lot of partnerships, projects, sort of signed up and interacting with CyberConnect Link 3. at the moment. Would you be able to tell us about some tools or functions that developers can use to help them interact either with the community or other DeFi protocols? But what tools can project developers use on or within CyberConnect or Link3 to sort of enhance their social presence, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, from the application level, Link3, it's already basically the largest all-in-one link platform for crypto projects. So the first thing they could use is to verify their accounts and create a verified Link3 page, so that their users understand like exactly which links are the real links. So I think it's also a way to avoid phishing links from Twitter or Discord or a lot of places. It's one of the biggest headache that we have with all those scammers. And then second of all, if this developer or project trying to grow their audience, we also have this event planner tool for them to generate like an event page with audience tracking, attendance taking, and issue the kind of like the proof of attendance token. And we use the standard of SPT. It's what we call like West Web3 status token, and users will be rewarded if they attended those events. And currently we are hosting about like 200 to 300 events per week. If you want to add raffle, you can add raffle easily. So any live streaming or AMAs or community calls that you want to host with Link3 Event Planner, it will bring you more traffic, and you also have a chance to understand your audience better based on the data analytics that we provide. And some other tools, for example, like we recently launched this beta testing feature called Post, Link3 Post. So moving forward, you'll be able to update your audiences and notify them through email. And we're going to also do like some other notification, just help you to better reach your audience. So creating a post decentralizedly and getting more data analytics based on their address, that would be another way to grow your channel as well. Lastly, I think fan club, it's one of the tools that we introduced recently. It's currently only open for CyberConnect, so it's like a loyalty program for our CyberConnect users. So for example, like the CyberConnect fan club already have, I think, more than 500,000 user minted their fan pass. And we use this tool to encourage users to try out other ecosystem dApps that's building on CyberConnect. And so far, we have helped a couple of pretty solid projects to grow, including like Redon, Degen Reborn, Collapse, and more will be coming as well. So I think from the application wise, app layer, Link3, it's a pretty cool tool for developers and projects, and also including like creators to explore if they want to create their Web3 present. And I mean, technically, we also offer a lot of tools which could be found on our CyberConnect, cyberconnect.me or cc.me website. You can go to the Dev Center and check it out. We also provide a whole bunch of APIs. And for example, if you want a user's identity related or social graph related data, you could query from those APIs. So that could help you bootstrap your network. And right now we already cover 800 million, like 800,000 users with millions of social graph data and content data. I think that experience moving forward will potentially solve the problem of co-starting. You like developers does not have to always ask all those questions again, like what are your interests, who do you want to follow, and in order for them to generate the first feed with CyberConnect, you could solve that problem with one click. And all those tools are included in our dev center. Check it out if you're interested.
It's very, very cool. Yeah, it's really good. I do like, well, I'll yeah, a lot everything you said, I'm already a big fan of. I really, really interested in the events. So I think what we can do at BSC News now is put our events here because it's really, really popular. And you can see sort of how many people are going to like each event. And there's a whole range of things, gaming, Web3 talks from all across the world, which is fantastic. I'm not sure if this is J Japanese.
Yeah, I
Um,
think Japanese. We will have a pretty good coverage in the Japanese community. And my co-founder Ryan is actually going to Tokyo for East Tokyo. And plus one thing, like you can click on the participants button and see like what are the profiles, who are actually attending, like who are the holders of whatever NFTs. That's actually pretty cool. And once you upgrade your account to a verified account, you're gonna be able to view a lot more in-depth data analytics within your dashboard. So that's a very different thing than the existing other tools out there.
yeah. Wow. And you said as well, it's good perhaps for companies to have all their links consolidated in one place and no sort of scammy links, that sort of thing. Do you reserve handles? So, for example, BSC News or Microsoft. Have you got like a list of companies that you've essentially blocked out that people can't claim, or can people buy these identities and then sell them to the actual company? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, One thing is we do reserve a whole bunch of handles that we already know it's owned by the copyright of it. It's owned by, let's say, like BNB Chain or BS New, but we might not be able to. Obviously we can't cover all the trademarks, and but I think like we're trying our best to not to have a too speculative market for the handle, in order for the right handle to be in hands of the right person. So right now, in the short term, the handles are not tradable yet. But moving forward, I mean, at some point in the future, we're gonna open it up for and therefore it's gonna solve the problem if your preferred handle it's actually taken by some random people. But yeah, I think that's the current
Yeah,
system. It's hard to reserve all the handles for the right
yeah.
people.
I think otherwise you'd end up just reserving every single word in the world.
Yeah.
So I
Also, like
completely
the
understand.
thing that we, if even if like some random people reserve that your preferred handle, let's say Microsoft, we're not going to verify them. They can do whatever they want with their link, but they're not going to get the verified check. And moving forward, we're going to make that more and more decentralized. What Link Three, one of the important thing that we're trying to build with this product is trust. And moving forward, we're going to figure out some way to build a more decentralized trust building network, and starting from a pretty decent small group of trustworthy or organization accounts or creator accounts, and expand that trust network gradually into the more general public. And so I think that in a way also prevents people to create fake and scammy accounts through Link3 as well.
Definitely, yeah. And I, I I think I sort of already know, and I've already experienced the answer to my next question. Before I ask that, though, if you use link 3, CyberConnect. My profile on there is just Tom_DeFi. I'm accepting anyone that follows me, so please feel free. I'm going to be on there a lot tonight, sort of scheduling our events as well. However, my question is, there's quite a few sort of other identity type Web3 solutions. Would you be able to tell us, you pretty much already have, but what makes you different, and also what makes you sort of set and ready and the choice for mass adoption?
Yeah. So first of all, I think a lot of the identity related protocols, uh, I think essentially they're just selling domains without too much to do with the domain. I mean, obviously there is a product market fit for human readable handles, but we definitely don't need a whole bunch of just random domains if there is no extra utility attached to it. So what we're trying to build, like it's a holistic account system for all Web3 users. It's not only your human readable domain, but along with it, it's actually the profile concept, the account concept that we built beneath it. It's your social graph, it's your content distribution platform, it's your monetization channel. It's how you actually interact with your fans, with your friends and fans in a peer-to-peer manner without any potential interfering from tech giants. No one can, for example, Tom just followed me on Link3. That data is stored through CyberConnect protocol on a decentralized network, and no one else can take it out from that data pool. And it, like, for us, the same, like we don't have your ledger, we don't have your MetaMask, we don't know your private keys, so your that's basically ensuring you own your data. And comparing to other social graph plus identity related protocols out there, I think like you mentioned massive adoption. I think that's also like one of our biggest differentiation as well. I know some of the protocols they're taking a pretty different approach, but what we do here, as I mentioned, it's an on-chain plus off-chain model, which will maximize user experience and also scalability. And the off-chain part, it's purposely designed for data abundancy. As we know, for social network to work, you have to somehow accumulate a huge, enormous amounts of data set to complete a social network, and therefore it's probably necessary both in the short term and long term to have this like off-chain decentralized storage and data access control layer for users to manage other things. I mean, for mass adoption, like something else we're also planning, it's a potential account abstraction wallet, which will enable users to log in with their Web3 social logins. But that's not, we haven't officially announced yet, so I'm gonna just tease it a little bit, not diving too much details into it. But yeah, back to you, Tom.
Thank you. No, it's all very exciting stuff, and from what from what you showed earlier, and sort of from the screen shares and stuff, I'm very excited. Also, you might have seen me sort of looking down a few times. It might look like I'm playing on my phone, but I'm actually just signing messages to try and fill out my profile a bit, just because it's very empty at the moment. And I wanted just to show some good things on my profile. If anyone tries to follow me, I don't want it just to be blank. Anyway, would you be able to tell us, in your opinion, what the future of social media, I know that's quite a big broad term, but social media looks like? Is it headed towards decentralization on Web3? Do you think people are coming away from centralized big companies and heading towards the type of solution that CyberConnect offers?
I mean, that's definitely like our vision. And I think decentralized social platforms are going to be there because of two things. Fundamentally, Web3 provides uh, one, your asset ownership, which we do not have on Web2. Like everything that you accumulate on Web2 games, social media platforms, those are services provided by the platform, not actually owned by you. And with crypto, with blockchain, with decentralization, for the first time, user will be able to own assets. And the easiest example would be now when you like for example like on my Link3 profile, I displayed it some of the NFTs that I own to give you a better sense of who I am, right? And that's a very different like you can't actually do that with centralized media platforms, or at least like it's not a native way to do so. And moving forward, I think with asset ownership and native integration with the platform, I think that's going to change how we virtually social or interact with each other. It's going to be more closer towards like our real life. When we pick which jackets should I dress to the party like tonight, or whatever assets that you own. That's like the first aspect of why like Web3 social would be a very different experience than Web2. Like the number two, it's back to like data ownership. um, Number one is asset ownership, and number two is data ownership. Like once you have asset, like I imagine a future when users and creators actually own their own channel. One user might like have multiple different channels or multiple different identities online, but essentially they actually you know uh, on those distribution. Like for example, you can push the content to your fans directly, and getting monetized directly, and that ownership matters, as what I just explained. That changed the whole bargaining power thing. So I think there will still be platforms that's aggregating all those contents in social networks. But essentially, what's different, it's going to be done in a manner between peer to peer. It's directly between user and user, and that would also create a healthier and more dynamic social networks, I think.
Interesting. There's the one problem that I sort of sometimes think about or envisage with decentralized content ownership is files or decentralized file storage. So, for example, if there's a content creator and they create a 20-minute long video that's, for example, 2 GB, to store that on an EVM chain, it would it's just unrealistic. Um,
Yes.
how do you think? Do you think file storage will always have to be a Web2 backend, some SQL server somewhere, and stored on a server, or can file storage be decentralized as well?
I mean, that's also the purpose of Greenfield, right? To solve that problem. And I think Arweave, IPFS, Filecoins, Cia Coins, and Storage, all those projects are trying to solve that problem. And currently, we already experimented with Arweave and IPFS, and it worked pretty well. I think what matter is whether user own those things, and whether it remains decentralized. What matter less about like those content storage is whether it's on chain, and therefore that's the major reason why we created this like hybrid model. I think what needs to be on chain, one, has to be has to be like the things that has a little bit more value, like per transaction wise. You know, social graph in many cases has great value only when you accumulate a large amount of data. But blockchain, it's by nature a scar, you know, a kind of like scarcity, right? It has limited storage and bandwidth and limited TPS, and therefore, I just don't think that everything should be on chain, at least at the moment. That's my point of view. Um, yeah, but I do like getting back to your question. I do think that storing those content even in the future, like you know, decentralizing the CDN, those are the possible things. But at least like content storage, it's like, for example, things with Link3 and CyberConnect, everything is stored that decentralizedly, and it works perfectly fine.
Good, great. I once again, I am really looking forward to setting up a BSC News's account with CyberConnect, and also obviously filling my account out as well. And from what I can see on, I'm just going to share my screen again. 2 seconds. For example, here you can see what anyone can see. It's obvious that it's, you know, this is very successful. Obviously, you know, it's not perhaps as, you know, it hasn't got as much traffic as, say, you know, YouTube and Twitch yet, but in the world of Web3, you know, we can see there's so many events already booked in with all these lovely looking thumbnails. You can see exactly who's going, and the numbers are very impressive. So in the world of sort of, you know, Web3 identities, I consider you very successful. But there are a lot of projects out there that aren't at all as nearly as successful as you, that yeah, might, you know, offer a domain name, like you said earlier. Why do you think you've reached? Obviously, you know, there's, you know, room for growth. Still, and the future is very bright for you. I'm sure. But why do you think you've succeeded so well in the sort of Web3 social arena, and how have you done it?
Oh, thank you. First of all, like I don't think we are actually like any any anywhere like near uh, a successful, you know, a decentralized social graph protocol yet. Like we have a very ambitious goal. I only say like we're really, you know, a successful project when we onboarded, let's say, the first like 50 million users onto the network. That's our, you know, the goal for the next like 3 years. Um, but I think comparing to other startup projects like us, we focus a lot more on two things. One, it's the developer ecosystem, and you know, for example, like we recently closed the hackathon with BNB Chain, which has a lot participants and great projects come out. And what we do differently than other social hackathons or in general other hackathons is we actually, you know, reach out to those projects and help them grow, help them brainstorm, help them find product market fit, and help them test their product. And I think in order for all of us to actually, you know, own a decentralized social web, um, I think what we need to do is, you know, not just focus on like pure marketing, but like based on my experience working with developers, it's like we really need to spend the time with them and help them get through the you know, bootstrapping, the most difficult beginning stage time. And that's also one of the major reasons why we started fan club, to actually incentivize users to try it out all those different ecosystem apps. And another thing that we do differently might be we focus a lot on use case and user experience. Like for example, I know there are some other protocol out there that do not have a flagship product like we do, like Link3. We do that because it helps with two things. One, it makes us it literally put us into the same shoes with the developers, because we are the application developer as well. So I understand like how they're thinking about like what kind of tools that is going to be needed, and that's shaped the protocol further, more towards their demand. And another thing that changed is like we listen to the users closely through the application directly. A lot of the protocols, I mean, they don't have a directly facing consumer product, and therefore they're kind of like far from users. And based on like our experience with Link3, like right now we have about like almost 100K daily user on Link3 already. And that's a pretty good amount of crypto native users testing out the product on a daily basis, and giving us, large amounts of feedback. And I think, yeah, those are the things that we pretty much focus on. But in terms of whether we successful or not, I just don't think we're there yet. We're still super early.
Oh yeah, we definitely are super early. I think you're in the correct place to grow substantially, and and what you've got on your platform so far, I think is really interesting. I was not necessarily surprised, but excited to see Japanese there as well, because I don't really come across much Japanese at all in Web3, or just in England, basically. So I'm going to start exploring some Japanese stuff, which is very exciting. You mentioned as well that you involve the community a little bit, just what you said there. Do you have any structures in place for example, things like governance, and also community feedback? And do you take on board, what users say? And is there a structure in place, or governance system that you work with?
Yeah. I mean, it's like long term wise, it's we're definitely leading towards a DAO governance system. But in terms of like proposal voting, all those things are not the priority at the moment. But we do listen to our community carefully. We host like community calls biweekly on Discord, and we got about like averaging like 6,000 concurrent viewers in each call. So we have a pretty good reach of our, to our community, and we constantly listen to their feedback and what they need. And we have this like ambassador program, community manager program, to further, activate the activities in like from our community. So I think in terms of um, decentralized governance, I to be honest, I don't think like in the short run it's a the top priority yet. I think we're taking the approach like more like uh, progressive decentralization, if I may phrase it that way. By building the community since the very beginning, and getting them involved as much as possible. But so far, I think since our token is not live yet, it's hard for us to come up with like for example, like proof of stake proposal or anything like that. But obviously, that's our goal, to make the network that's actually owned by the community.
Very good. Thank you. And listeners, I'm going to put a QR code up in just a moment to, either create your own profile or explore CyberConnect. But if you already have an account, please do follow me. I'm populating my account as we speak, which is Tom_DeFi. And as I said, sort of after this, I'll set up a BSC News one as well, and get our live streams sort of in the events. I'm amazed that that the engagement that you've already got there. And I've learned a lot, not just about CyberConnect, but sort of about Web3 social media as a whole. I know that I'm coming from quite a basic standpoint, so yeah, thank you very much for explaining it in very simple terms to me. I've asked you a lot of questions. Is there anything that I've not asked you or that we've not discussed that you'd like to bring up at all?
Not really. I mean, um, yeah, like one thing that I want to tease a little bit. It's like um, we are planning a new upgrade for Link 3, and we're trying to help creators to actually generate a decentralized distribution channel that's owned by them, and help them actually build a way to directly communicate with their fans. And that includes like enabling them to create all sorts of content, and that's going to be we're also going to use the newest tool, ChatGPT, OpenAI APIs. Yeah, so stay tuned for that new feature. Yeah, I'm closely following up on those features, and hopefully we can announce it in the next couple of weeks.
Fantastic. And the link, well, QR code up there is to link 3. If you go on that, you'll be able to scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's the Twitter and also Discord links for the community there, which obviously I assume, yeah, will be all the updates and everything like that. But also on that site, you can easily, like really, really easily create your own profile. I did it very quickly. I haven't, filled it out much at all yet, but please do create one. It's easy, it's fun, and we can all be friends. Yeah, my username, as I've said there, is just Tom_DeFi. It would be good to connect there, and I'm sure at BSC News as well. Yeah, we're going to utilize this. Well, yeah, moving forward, because it's very, very good, very fun. But thank you very, very much for your time, Wilson. It's been really, really interesting. Indeed, and I'll make a few sort of little short videos as well, because there's quite a few features that I think need to be shown to the world. Before we say cheerio, is there anything last you'd like to say at all?
No, thank you, Tom. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And yeah.
Thank you, Wilson. Honestly, it's been really, really interesting. And hopefully, I don't know, in a couple of months down the line or something, we can chat again, because it's been eye-opening. And honestly, I'm a big fan. So thank you very much for your time again, and speak very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Bye-bye. Well, thank you very much, as always, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Obviously, that was Wilson from CyberConnect, and I'm really, really impressed. If you do want to, well, I don't see why you wouldn't want to, be friends with me on link3.2. My profile is Tom_DeFi. Please give me a follow. It's very easy to do. I'd just like to quickly mention our sponsor as well for these events, which, as you can see here, is Bloxroot. Apologies there. They offer something called BSC Protect RPC. They also offer it on Ethereum and Polygon. It's a custom RPC URL that prevents you getting front run and also sandwich attacked. It's completely free as well. So I've just put the QR code up for the Ethereum Gas Protect. Down there is for BNB chain. You can easily get to the other chains as well through the QR codes. But all you need to do is just install that, not install, but have that custom RPC URL, and you will not be front run or have sandwich attacks, anything like that to worry about in DeFi trading. Anyway, thank you very much, as always, for tuning in. We're live every day, 7 p.m. UTC. Normally, obviously, today was a little bit earlier, but please do join us again. It's been, as always, a very, very good chat. And speak very, very soon.